Kenneth, I think that network has made us both millions and millions and millions. Do you think that would be true?
It's definitely true. Networking is a very big part of your business. If you cannot network, you're definitely gonna be struggling. Networking it's a very authentic way of putting your business and your service or your product out there and effectively being the face of the business, being the face of the product and the service. And that is the first point of contact that people will remember when they meet with you. You know what they say, the first 10 seconds is the most important. And it's really true. So when you're networking, you really need to be present and you need to be there and you need to be listening. It also makes a big difference once you get into networking, the transactional networking versus building the relationship kind of networking. There's a huge difference there. You see the guys handing out business cards at network events and they say that they're networking, but it's nothing. You know, people
Drinks.
these days, I
It's
don't know
a
if
drinks
people
club. It's where we all turn up, drink,
it's a drinks club,
share bits of cardboard, and go home again, and that's networking.
and then it makes them feel good about themselves. But caring for people, and that's also where, you know, one of the principles or the reasons why we started KingdomPreneur was to bring in that faith-based serving people character that we inherently have. All of us have it. It's caring for people, right? So networking is essentially caring for people. It's talking to people, finding out how they are. And, you know, even if you can't solve a problem they have because you offer a service that they don't use, it goes a lot further because I can't explain to you how valuable it is to stay in touch with people and to care for people that you meet. They would essentially refer your business on because they had a good experience with you as a person. And building a business that way is authentic, it's sustainable, and it beats the transactional networking that's out there.
It's funny, isn't it, that the most of networking happens away from the networking meeting, right? Because I mean, so many people, if you go to so many networking meetings, you and I actually met in a networking meeting 10, 12 years ago, or
That's
whatever
right.
it was. We met in a networking meeting. And if we look at all of these networking events out there, they've got huge amounts to offer, but I think for me, the starting point is you need to be a business card collector, not a business card giver. I think that would be a really, really useful place. But most of the work happens after you've met somebody. So what do you observe as things that people struggle with? So they go to an event, they meet this new person, they think they could be a client, or I might be able to help them, or they might be able to introduce me to somebody. What are the things where people fail themselves after that?
So I think one of the big things is people don't listen when other people are talking. So when you're networking and you introduce yourself, you should be listening out for some sort of a rapport that you can build with a person. So let me give you an example. If they also have kids and you have kids, that automatically puts you on a ground where you can relate to certain things, right? Oh, it's holidays, we need to look after the kids at home, it's difficult, we're also running a business. That's something a lot of us can relate to. Or how do you keep your kids busy? Where are you going this weekend with the kids? That is, so you're automatically building that emotional relationship. Once you formed that, after the networking meeting, it's a very good idea to keep the communication channel open. A WhatsApp voice note or just a text goes a very, very long way in thanking someone for their time, thanking them for the time that you could talk to them and find out about the business, and just relay friendliness and caring. So, you know, I enjoy the business that you are busy building, and I would definitely want to refer it on. You're a great person, and the business that you're building is phenomenal. So thanks for your time. It was awesome to chat. Automatically, it opens up the communication channel, and it always leaves the door open for them in the event that they would need your service or your product. So I guess it comes from your heart after the networking meeting. You should really be caring for people after that. Here's another golden nugget. As your business grows, you don't always have time to thank people because you're busy. You're busy networking, you're busy delivering a service, you're busy on the phone, you've got staff, there's a lot going on. But have you ever thought to thank people for paying your invoice? I mean, how many suppliers send a voice note or WhatsApp thanking the customer for a prompt payment? And a personal voice note, I'll tell you what, goes very far, especially if it comes from the owner or the director. It goes really far, and it just cements that relationship. And that's a small golden nugget that I use that I think has been left along the side for many businesses, where you don't thank your client for making payment. And it's kind of a big deal for clients to make payment, because a lot of our invoices are big invoices, and it takes a lot of commitment and preparation on their side. It's put into their budget. Yes, the service is delivered, but if you go the extra mile and you give them a feel-good moment where they know where your heart is, it's definitely is more sustainable.
It's funny, in networking, famously, reciprocity, givers gain is mentioned. And what you've just highlighted is when a lot of business owners hear givers gain, they think they have to give something tangible like a pen or a gift or a thing. And actually giving thanks, which is faith-based, it's gratitude, giving thanks actually is of more value to people more often than not. One of my big hacks to networking is we're often in a race to tell other people what we do. And I think that patience wins the race. I think we should be in a race to find out what other people do and how they do their world. And at the end of that, they will then ask, oh, what do you do? But in hearing what they've said, we shouldn't have a pre-prepared 30-second script of this is how I describe what I do the entire time. We should match what we do to what it is that they've spoken to us about. I mostly work with Christian business owners who are parents, and I support them with this and that and so on and so forth, because that's what the person's just told me. And so one of the two big things I think we should do is be the last person to tell people what we do, and to leave the idea of the 30-second pitch at the door, and actually always just describe what we do to directly match what it is, the circumstances of the other person. Because your 30-second pitch will turn as many people off as it turns on. What are the words of wisdom can we give people as they're going out there and networking? I mean, you obviously don't just have to go to networking meetings. Where else can we find people to network with?
You don't have to only go to networking meetings, but you'll find that as you go about your day, and I think this is a blanket statement, but it works for everyone. As you go about your day, you are involved in different communities. So in the morning, you might be training at a gym. There's a community, and there's an opportunity to listen to people and to care for people, right? That's networking effectively. Networking is not only, or is predominantly not trying to give your elevator pitch when you meet people. It's looking after other people in your community. And when you do that at the gym in the morning, you come home, you get your kids, you go to school, there's another community. And there's another opportunity to listen to people, to talk to people, to see if you can solve problems or just care for people. And this takes a lot of patience, obviously. But you do that throughout the day in the different communities where you're involved in. People really catch on to the fact that someone cares for them. And you want another person. The guy in the gym that is going to be your training partner, or the mom at the Moms and Tots group, to ask you what it is that you do for them. Because when they ask that question, that is when you tell them about what you do, your business. Because now you have 100% their attention. It is not forced onto them. It is something that they want to hear because they asked it. So I guess it goes back to Gary Vee's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. And if you care enough, people are going to come back and maybe it's a natural thing, but try and find out what they can do for you to make your life better. And when you're in that position, that is when your ask is. That is when you tell them about your business. That is your time to shine. And because most people are already 90% there. They're 90% kind of, let's call it, sold on what it is, who you are, what you sell, and that you're a trustworthy person. And the last 10% is just closing the deal.
I think that people are in a rush to miss the work that's most important. And I think that we need to see networking not as a bolt-on to what we actually do as business owners. I think we actually need to see it as the very, very hub and the core of what we actually do in our business. We're not actually a coach or an accountant or a plumber or a marketing company, or whatever it is. We're actually a networker first. Because that's the thing that will pay the bills. That's the thing that should be and there's opportunities, every time you meet a client, it's a wonderful opportunity to strengthen a relationship, but maybe find out who they had lunch with last week ago on Tuesday, or who they went on holiday with at the weekend, or whatever it may well be, and just listen. Because many times one of your clients will say, well, I had dinner with so-and-so last night, and you can say, oh, well, who's so-and-so? Show some interest. Maybe if it's of no relevance. I tend to find that 4 or 5 times out of 10, the person they had dinner with actually could be a prospective client for me. And all I simply need to say is, I'd love to meet that person one day. Could you introduce me? And here we are. We're in another conversation with another new network and another people. And I think we're so busy being busy, we miss the fact that people know people, and all we need to do is go and help them make those connections.
Absolutely. Also, don't realize you don't realize how valuable people are that you are talking to, because you don't know who they know. And while they might sign up as a client at your smallest rate or package, and you think that, wow, this is, not such a good deal, you don't know who they will refer in the future. And essentially, this is a huge opportunity to wow them, shock and awe, to make them feel like you're over-delivering and this is a phenomenal service. Because once they start referring people, that small client becomes a 50 or 100 grand a month client, just by virtue of them also being able to network and talk to people. So never discount who you're talking to, because you never know who they know.